Kicking my butt. I'd rather be doing anything besides this. Okay, before you go any further, I recommend you back up the entire SD card. To do this, you're going to need at least 60 gigabyte free on a hard drive or other media. It's because we're backing up the entire SD card, which is 64 gigabyte. In real space, it requires almost or roughly 60. So if you have the space, you're going to need a program called Win32 Imager. If you go on Google, you can find it easy enough. It's a free program. But assuming you have the space, notice is the device we want to back up. So we need to put where the file is going to go. I'm just going to go ahead and drop it in my downloads. It's been using this as a catch-all. So I'm going to call this OS39 with FAT95. Then you want to call it .img and open. And we're going to be reading, so read. And this will take a little time. See, about 13 minutes, so we'll be back. And it's done. It was successful. You can click OK. And wherever you put it, you can go and check properties, and you see almost 60 gig. So you can close that. And now here, if you need to reverse that, say you do something from this point on and make a mistake, and you're not sure what you made a mistake and something just really wrong, you can go ahead and put your SD card back in the PC and just reverse this. Then go pick out the file, open, and then instead of reading, which would be reading off the SD into the image, which is backing the entire thing up, you're going to write. It's going to take that image and write that entire image back. And I'm not going to demonstrate that here. There's no need, just so you know that's why we did this. If you do something and something goes wrong and it won't even boot anymore and you're frustrated, don't even worry about it. Just go re-image it and you'll start from this point again. Anyhow, we're going to go back to the 64 and continue on. Welcome back. Hopefully this starts to get a little bit more fun. First off, one thing we didn't do in the last part is rename this. I don't care for that name, so go ahead and click once and go to rename. I'm just going to call it SD0. Rename. And there you go. So let's go ahead and open SD0. Show all. There's our Picasso 96. Let's work with it in RAM disk. Update. Windows show all. Double click. Let's point it towards RAM disk. When you power down, everything in RAM disk is gone, in case you didn't know. Now, Picasso 96, that's retargetable graphics. So basically, you're going to have a graphics card for your Amiga. So you can run higher resolution pictures, and some programs utilize or some even require retargetable graphics. And I've seen that error before. It doesn't harm anything. Okay. It's fairly easy to set up as long as your monitor is not something really exotic. That's where it gets a little sticky sometimes, and you'll see it shortly. I'd say go ahead and do it, and in case you had any problems. I don't think it's going to be problems that's going to cause your system to be inoperable, but even the worst case, you know how to back up and restore now, so I'd say just go for it. Okay, we want to run setup. Run the normal setup. To proceed, first install, proceed, and intermediate, proceed, 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 blah blah blah. Read the manual now? No. Unless you want to. Alright, this isn't going to matter right now, but let's just go ahead and click Cybervision 64. Just whatever you click, make note. So I just do that one. Yeah, do that by default, 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 default. Okay, we actually do not have a partition or hard drive called work. So let's select another location. And let's put it, okay, we'll keep it on workbench. Let's make a new drawer. Let's call it support. We can put manuals and support files in there. Proceed, proceed. Yeah, sure, why not? No, we don't need a printer patch. We don't have a printer. Yeah, that all looks good, yes. And let's install. Proceed, proceed, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and it's done. We can proceed and exit out. Okay, go ahead and close these windows. Now open your workbench, go into devs, go into monitors, and remember we created this Cybervision card. We need to rename this. So icons rename, and go ahead and call that Minimig. Rename. Okay, now with a single click, go up and hit information. And icon, we need to change the tool type. So for the board type, we need to change that to Minimig also. And save. Okay, go ahead and close. Okay, close. Now here in Workbench, we need to find the libs. So let's show all. Oops. Let's go show all. Let's find the libs folder. There we go. Now we need to find the Picasso 96 folder in here. Open that. You can shrink a little bit. Move off to the side. Close. Close. Okay, now we need to open that Minimig utility. Mount it if you don't have it mounted. Now this Minimig card we need to move over. Okay, now it's time to reboot. So go and reset. Okay, let's go ahead. Open your workbench. Let's go into prefs and show you something that's kind of goofy about OS 3.9, at least in NTSC land. Go into screen mode. And looky here, you can test screen modes, but you can't use or save, or even cancel. Yeah, anyhow, by default, these are your screen modes. I'm going to end up disabling all the ones that aren't 4:3 aspect ratio. And eventually I'm going to add some more. Actually, I'm going to add one in right now. But before that, let me show you how you get around this problem with not being able to use or save. Go ahead and go into Overscan in the NTSC, edit text size, and I'm just going to make it taller. This is a temporary measure. Okay, and let's use. So now we can go in and we can test and we can use and save. Not going to do that this exact second because I want to add one screen mode. So let's go over to Picasso 96 mode. And there's all the active modes. So yeah, eventually I'm going to make a bunch of these inactive. You just make them inactive by double clicking on them. Yeah, I'm not going to do them all right now. I'm just showing you can. In this new item, drag down, if you want what I'm about to do. And 640 by 480 active. For my capture hardware, that's what I'm using. But we also need to drag over for mode. So you have 256 and high color. So let's test that. And that works good with my capture hardware. So let's go ahead and save. Current mode change, you want to accept these changes? Yes. So I'm going to have to reboot for it before that takes place. Just realize I might as well go into prefs and save that overscan for now. Okay, now let's reboot. Let's go select that screen mode. Prefs. Screen mode. Now 640 by 480 should be in here. Yep. Let's test. Needs a little adjustment, but pretty good. Let's save. Yep, reached the limitation of my capture hardware. Spent too much time today trying to get around its limitations, but it's not working. So yeah, we're gonna be getting more of this kind of camera view for the rest of the series. So now we have the 640 by 480 directly from the Turbo Chameleon to the monitor, and it looks good. But since we're doing it this way, let's sweeten it up a little bit. Probably bump this up to 800 by 600. See how that looks. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Let's do that. And there you go. You now have a graphics card on your Amiga, on your Turbo Chameleon, Mini Mig Core on your Commodore 64. Okay, we're going to do one last little fun thing today. Let's go into Workbench, WB Startup. Let's keep that open. Mini Mig Utils. Now drag over Wheel Driver and drag over Freewheel. And let's reboot. Okay, if you haven't figured out why we did that, we now have a wheel mouse. Simple but fun. Anyhow, that's going to do it for this part. I was hoping to get more in this part, but you'd be really surprised how long this took. Struggling with any kind of video capture on old hardware is tricky, and there's multiple layers to this, and I won't get into it. But let's just say it was a little bit of a struggle today, but I think this is enough to put out, and I expect another part hopefully to drop tomorrow, and I think it'll make people happy. So thank you. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell in case I decide to go on vacation and it takes a while to get the next part. Either way, thank you. See you on the next.